Good evening, fellers and fellettes. Greg from Clearwater 124 again. Got some time tonight. My wife went out to a church function and they do not allow me to attend. So I'm going to make a short video here. Just remember, I'm not a professional. I'm just some guy in his Florida room, the Carrera track. I got my first set in October of 2020 during COVID, as most of you know. So over the course of almost 6 years, I built, well, one floor track and now 8 tracks on my table behind me. I just finished my 8 track a week or so ago. And I wanted to share some things that I've discovered that pertain to Carrera mostly, but I'm sure some people will take some of this stuff and use it on their Scaly or Scale Auto or Ninko or whatever the track is they have. I just thought I'd share a few things. One of the biggest complaints I hear is track separating. You know, you got your red clips. Let's see this camera. Get your red clips, right? Everybody uses. They work. They don't work perfectly. What I always do every time is take a butter knife. And you can see this one's got a bent tip on it. My wife hasn't come looking for it, so that's a good thing. And I just spread it like that. Okay. So when you put them in, you can hear a very, very audible click. Trying to get this camera where you can see it right. Okay, so you have those. And then Carrera also has this clip. And they go, once you put your track together, they go there. And believe me, it's a very secure fit. Give me a second and I'll do one for you. I should show you, I guess, huh? And I have a third option that I recently discovered. Okay. All right, so how this red one works. Track goes together like that. And this has a little nub right here. God, that's awful, Greg. Right there, that little nub. And that goes in this hole right here. You put it in, you snap it down, and that track is never coming apart. Right? If you put a couple of those on each section, it'll never come apart. Now, the drawback to this is it's much more difficult to take your track apart. If you're a guy that makes 6 or 7 or 8 tracks, or maybe changes your track once a year or a couple times a year, these are a pain in the ass to get off. They're really hard to get apart. They will come apart, but as you can see, it took some effort. Now, I just discovered this. This is I get this off Thingiverse. free download PLA print. And it's different than the Carrera connector, shorter, and it's a little stiffer, and it goes in here. It's got prongs on the end like a fish hook, reverse. You can hear that click, right? And it goes together like this. And you need a tool. This isn't easy like the Carrera ones. You got to push this through, and there it clicks, and it's tight. But it's the same as with this one. If you're changing your track all the time, you need a tool. You can't just pull this apart. You got to squeeze these together. Pair of pliers or something, right? You got to squeeze them and push. That's the only way it'll come apart. Both of those, both this and this are a more permanent solution for sure than the regular clips. But like I said, if you're going to put your track up permanently, or you're only going to change it once every 10 years, I would recommend that or that. But remember, if you're going to take your track apart, it's a lot more difficult. And this is another thing that, just because I don't see as well, I only wear my glasses half the time, I write on here because seeing this crap is really difficult. So all my track pieces now have this on it. Also with Carrera track, once you have your track fixed down, I'm sure you could 3D print these also. This track connector here can go inside or outside, right there, like that. And they do come with screws, but I'm sure if you print them, you have screws laying around the house. You put your screw through there into your table. And that secures your track. I will tell you one thing, after building as many tracks as I have, it's very difficult to get perfect joints all the way around. Couple of suggestions I have with that is, don't rush when designing your track. Most of the time I might start with a planner, but I have never yet done one on a planner that came out perfectly. You always have to manipulate it. A couple of things that I found while building tracks is it's very important to have a selection of third, quarter, and half sections. That's really the only way that you're going to get your track to fit as close to perfect as possible. And with those pieces, I mean the quarter, thirds, and halves, try not to insert them in the middle of a curve. Really any straight, even a full straight, in the middle of any large radius curve will upset the way that the car takes that curve. So I try to avoid that, and I would recommend that. Like I said, I'm no expert at this. This is just stuff that I've kind of figured out along the way. Also, do I have those connectors for jumpers? For jumpers, I use speaker wire right here. do have, where do I have those? I do have the Carrera connectors, although I do not know where I have them. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. I'm on my way back. The brass tabs. I've made jumpers by just bending the wire over and folding it on itself. But these brass tabs here work the best, and they're very easy to solder onto your wires. Very simple process. And actually, you can buy them already pre-made, or you can just make them with this and solder this on the end, and that works better than folding it over. All right. A couple of other things that I've found over the years. I use a ton of these. They're just door shims that Home Depot sells. I use them in all my curves on the outside to create a little bit of camber. You can double them up, triple them up, glue them, screw them, whatever you want, just to create that little bit. So you can see that, right? Just a little bit of doesn't take much. That's just 2 of them, and that's a nice little camber on there. And these are cheap, the door shims. Also, guardrails. I've mentioned this before. I make my own. I don't like the Carrera candy cane stuff. I don't like the clips they use. So this is, see, it's not very, I don't know what the thickness is. A couple of millimeters or centimeters. But it's sheet PVC. I bought a big sheet of PVC from Home Depot, and I cut it to the length and the width, the height that I want. It accepts stickers. You can glue to it, and I use binder clips to attach it to the track. You just put a binder clip on it, right? And the inside will attach to the bottom of the Carrera. The inside will attach to the bottom of the Carrera track. And when it is attached, let me attach this here. Probably could have used a smaller piece to demonstrate this. Okay, so there it is attached to the Carrera track with the binder clip, right? The beauty of it is on the inside, there is no obstruction. This is where that binder clip is, right? Here's the inside. There's nothing on the inside. So that remains smooth. Your car hits it, it just slides along it. So I use these on the outside of my borders in a place where it's difficult to marshal the car. Works great, very, very durable. I would recommend it. I don't know if I have anything else. That's that. I think that's pretty much it for tonight. But just a few tips. And of course, your legions of screwdrivers. And you need different ones for different cars. So I've got a couple of different sets. A lot of hexes. A couple of Phillips, a couple of flats. And as you can see, I attach magnets in places to help. Some of these are magnetic, but they're not very strong, so I throw a little magnet on them. Helps out. Knife blades, of course, you need. Doesn't hurt to have one of these laying around. Just a telescoping magnet. Because I drop shit on, I got black rubber under my feet here. So I lose everything down there. I just wave this wand around and I'll come up and I'll have 2 or 3 grub screws or something attached to the end of that. Oh, it's a good item to have. Of course, your variety of knives for your hobbying. I got 4 or 5 different ones of those. I bought this file set from Hobo Freight. Came with like 10 different files, and I use them. Every build that I make, I use them. Both for chassis and for bodies. Must have. Especially for tires, wheels and tires. I use this for painting driver figures, mirrors, small items. You can clip them in, and you have the magnifier if you need it. And it's a very sturdy base. It's a heavy base, so it sits pretty good. I bought a package of these. These are sanding sponges. All the way from 300 grit, I think, to 3,000. All the different grits, I use them a lot. Of course, there's several different brushes and paints and stuff you can use. Anyway, that's about it, fellas. Oh, I found my C8 spoiler again today. I ran one race with it on my new track after I found it when building my new track and lost it again. I found it today. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you get something out of it. This is Greg from Clearwater 124. Please like, subscribe, share if you found anything interesting you'd like to tell your buddy about. And I'll see you next time. Bye.